You are listening to the Path Podcast. Today, we are doing a rewind of a season one guest. And if you recall, in my last episode, 12 Relationship Red Flags You Should Never Ignore, I told you in the upcoming episode we will be talking about marriage. And who better to do that with me was my season one guest, Shelia Turner. Shelia has been married 33 years to her husband, David Turner, and they have a beautiful family. I hope you get information out of this because it was powerful, ladies and gentlemen. If you are thinking, wanting, or looking forward to making that next step, if you haven't done it already, but she's going to give you the real life story. And let me tell you, when your marriage is built on a strong foundation, there will be no obstacle that the two of you could not overcome. Over the years since I last spoke to Shelia, she and her husband, or she would say her husband, has written a book, and I want you to go out and get it, please. It's called I Am David, by faith, not by sight. And his book talks about, it's sure to strengthen you, challenge you, and inspire you. It is a powerful story. After you listen to this podcast, this episode, you will understand what his book is about and what it can do for you and your family. When I spoke to Shelia, I wanted people to hear what marriage really is. It is for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, richer or poor. We need to remember that we take these vows seriously. You can go to Amazon to get the book, I Am David, by faith, not by sight, or you can go to their website, www.iamdavidbook.com. If you order their book at iamdavidbook.com, you can get a signed copy. You can follow them on all of their social media accounts. I will have all of that in this episode and in the show notes. And let me be clear again, this book is not only for marriages. This book is about strengthening you during your weak moments, challenge you to humble yourself and increase in gratitude, and inspire you to make the shot even when it seems like you will miss it. He also said, while your situation may seem hard to deal with, we are here to offer you encouragement through our faith, which in turn has sustained us. May this book offer you strength, courage, and hope you need to walk by faith and not by sight. That's David and Shelia Turner. Path listeners, I hope you go and get this book. It's not just for marriages, it's for anything you're dealing with in life. Do not miss this wonderful opportunity, and I pray that your marriages are strong today. Now let's get to this powerful conversation. Welcome to the Path Podcast, where we will travel the lives of some bold women, from dreams to detours to destiny. She did not choose this path chose her. This is the Path Podcast. Hey, welcome back, Path listeners, to another survival guide through life. Can I tell you, I am excited about my guest today. I'm going to give you the backstory of how we met and how I met this queen, and we'll lead into what the show is about. For the sake of time, I'm constantly, I'm going to just try to make it shorter than what I normally would say about her. And just to have met her just recently. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to just kind of do the fast version of it. I'm constantly on Instagram trying to find great guests to bring to you. And I stumbled on this young lady's page. I believe it was divine connection. So I don't believe that was no mistake. But I started looking at her page, started going through some of her videos, and I stumbled on a video where a young man was speaking about a nonprofit that they were starting, and it piqued my interest. So I started looking a little bit more into her page, and when I looked at her bio, I always read a bio to see what the person said they're doing. And in her bio, she had her husband's link to his page, and then she has two sons. I don't want to tell her story, but she has two sons. So I'm like, okay, she is a family person. So then I went to her husband's page, and while looking at his page, I saw a video that he did when I found out later that was his son on Father's Day. And it touched my heart so. And then I found one that the son did also with his mother. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to reach out to this young lady. And so I did. In the video, we'll tell you what his video is about. I'm going to let my guest talk about it because I always say on the Path podcast, I won't tell it all because it's not my story to tell. So, enough said about that. That's how I met her. And I feel like she's my family member, to be honest. But let me start and tell you what the podcast is about today. Have you ever sat down and thought what it really means when we say I do? We stand before God and family and friends and declare to the world that we will take each other for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish. You know the rest that we all skip out on till death do us part. We tend to live in a fantasy world and see the better, richer, healthy, loving person only, and don't believe it. And believe me, don't get me wrong, I'm a positive person. But sometimes we have to remember that life happens. There are some things that's out of our control. What happens when in year 5, 6, or 15 an illness comes? Can you say I love you enough to stand beside the one you love? Can you say I will love you no matter what comes? Because we took these vows seriously. Sit back because my guest today will help you to understand the importance of these vows, her journey, their journey as a loving couple and family. I pray this episode saves marriages, spark a fire in marriages, and those who are single and dating or whatever stage you are in your life, it means something where you would take these vows seriously today. I also want to bring up awareness to what the couple is doing, to bring awareness to everyone, as my guest will speak about more into the podcast. Path listeners, help me welcome my guest, Shelia Turner. Welcome, Shelia, to the Path podcast. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for inviting me to come and join you on your podcast. Can I tell you, it is definitely a divine connection.
Yes, it is. I promise you. Like I've said already, everyone, I feel like she is a family member that we just connected and started talking like we knew each other. And when I tell you she's such an inspiration to me and positive, and I say for all the singles out here, I'm listening to her, I'm watching her from afar, and it's great when you can find people that you can look at and say, okay, these are the goals I would have whenever I get married again. Because to truly say you understand the vows, and after you hear her story and what she's doing, and it should be what we know vows are because they told us and that's what they are, but when you hear her story you will understand why I feel like we have so much we can learn from her and this couple. Today, her husband is not on the podcast with us because we're talking to the queen. One day, maybe we will introduce men into the path, but today I love talking to women, of course. And this is a powerful woman of God that is going to speak into our lives. And I pray that everyone seriously sits down and hear what she has to say. So, Shelia, one thing I love to do on this podcast, before we get into a lot of things, is tell me about the younger Shelia. Tell me about the young 16, 18, 21 year old who thought she had life all figured out. What were your plans, hopes, and plans for yourself?
First of all, I want to say I am one of 8 children.
Oh,
My mom,
wow.
they had 7 girls and 1 boy. And
Uh-huh.
so I was born and raised in Monroe, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
But After marriage, I moved to Texas with my husband. But the younger Shelia, I went to Grambling State University. I went to college, and that's where I met my husband. So, I was doing my thing, thought I just had everything under control. And
Yes.
before I even met him and got married, I would always pray to God. And I would always pray for my husband. I said, wherever he is, whomever he is, I just cover him right now. So he was covered already.
Yes.
He didn't know that.
Exactly.
He was already covered. But yes, I just love family, and I like doing things with family. And like I said, my siblings and my mom and my dad, he passed away in 98, but we're a close family and we do a lot of things together. And so our parents taught us love. And so that's all I know. And, and being with family, that's all I really know, and how to be around family, how to deal with family. So the younger Shelia, she just was doing her thing,
Exactly.
but I've always been in the church. I was raised in the church. So, that made a difference in my world. So
Of
that's
course. Of course. Of course. Well, wonderful. And let me tell you, I always love to tell people, I got ahead of myself, and I was going to ask you to tell me more about yourself, which you started alluding into it, of course, talking about the your family. And so tell me, is there more you want to tell me about Shelia? Because I should have started out more with that. I was just ready to jump into everything. So tell me more about yourself if you want to, if there's anything else.
Well, yes. I've always been more of the one in the back. I wasn't always out front doing a lot of things. So it was a little fear of doing some things,
Yes.
because, I was a little fearful of getting in front of people talking and things like that. And I guess as years went by, Shelia, more of myself came out, because the closer I got to the Lord, the more confident, I have. And even today now, sometimes it's still, it's still there. But I just love people. I love being around people. That's just the way I am. So that's a little about Shelia.
That's a little bit about Shelia. Wonderful, wonderful. So, okay, so we will move into, you say you met your husband in college at
Yes,
Grambling, at Grambling?
at Graham. And he was my first boyfriend.
Really? Oh,
Yes,
I love
yes.
those first stories, and that is wonderful.
Yeah.
So definitely met your husband in college. How soon after, like, college, did you all get married right away, or?
No, I met him, and I had known him for about 2.5 years, and we got engaged, and a year later we got married. So we married in 1990. So seems
1990?
like a long time, I know.
It's I know some people out there saying, wow, but it's a blessing. Just talking to you, just celebrated a wedding anniversary, did you not?
Yes, ma'am. June 30th, we made 31 years of marriage.
Wow.
Oh, and I can
30.
tell, yes, it hasn't been always all the good things, but hey, with God, we were able to make it, and we're gonna be able to make it more years.
Amen. Amen. 31 plus more.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, out of that beautiful marriage, the 31 years, the two of you do you have a family? You started a family or anything in those 31 years?
Yes. We have two sons.
Mhm.
One is 28 and one is 30. And
Wonderful.
then we have a granddaughter, Zamari.
Mhm.
She's 4 years old. She'll be 5 in September. So yes, we have a family. That's the daughter I've always wanted. When I tell you,
So you were looking for that little girl. Never, she didn't come right away, but she's here now.
yes, she's here now. Yes, and
That
I'm
is
so grateful.
wonderful.
We have some goddaughters. We have two goddaughters.
Okay.
And so, but we have Zamari as my grandbaby. So I'm grateful.
Wonderful. So you were in a house full of men, just in the beginning,
Yes,
early years. That's wonderful. And so one of your sons is the one who did the video I was speaking of earlier with you and your
yes,
husband, one for Mother's Day and one for Father's Day. So they look like they're doing great things. And I know you've said wonderful things about your sons.
yes.
That
Uh, the oldest one, Poet Trey, he's a poet. We call him, he goes by Poet Trey. And
uh-huh.
so he did a lot of writing, and he was on an app called Voicey.
Yeah.
And so he wanted us to join him with Voicy, and he told us what to do. And we really, we had fun with that.
Yeah.
The youngest one, he's an artist. He does R&B, and he's out of Atlanta, Los Angeles, New York, in and out of studios and things like that with his music. So they're very talented and they're very blessed young men.
Wonderful. And that, I think that speaks when I wanted you to mention them because I think it speaks to the love and the close knit family. I think you had already alluded to, even starting out in your earlier years with your family and siblings. It speaks a lot when a family is just so close and connected. And it's wonderful when, as parents, we can say just the wonderful things about our children, even, and really mean it.
Yes.
So that's a wonderful thing. So I wanted to just keep adding that part in there. So tell me, as time going on, you life happens. When you all got married, well, let's just go down into the years. Tell me some of the things that's unexpected that's happening in your marriage and in your lives thus far.
Okay, so like I said, we've been married for 31 years. My husband is an ordained elder at our church, a musician. He and I lead the intercessory prayer team, and currently we were just appointed overseers of the youth ministry. We've always been a part of the children ministry, but now we're overseers of the youth ministry. But 8 years ago, well, we can go back further than that. My husband developed diabetes first. And then going on and on and on with uncontrolled diabetes, he 8 years ago lost his eyesight totally to diabetes, both eyes. He can't see anything. And he also had developed a disease called gastroparesis. And gastroparesis is a delay in the emptying of the stomach. So his food doesn't digest like it's supposed to digest. And that causes pain and nausea, and it keeps him in and out of the hospital because the only way he can get relief from the pain is that inject medication and things like that. So the doctors are saying there is no cure for it. It's an incurable disease, in which we don't worry about that because we know we serve a God, and that God is, a healer. Exactly. So we're standing that. And also, so with that being said, after him developing the disease and losing his sight, I mean, it has been going on for 8 years in and out of the hospital and everything. So that's the health issues that we're, currently dealing with. And being a wife, that threw me off course. It's like, wait a minute, God, I didn't know this was going to happen. So, of course, he knows before we were even born, he knew all of that was going to happen. He knew what to go through. And so those are some of the health issues that we, currently deal with.
So I want to back up on some of all that you said, because that has been a lot you just said. And I want to make sure everyone heard what she said. This happened 8 years ago. So you were already in year 20 something of your marriage. Everyone is busy. You explain a lot that you all are still doing even to this day. So obviously you've been a busy family, a busy wife, busy mother, busy into the church, busy, I'm sure both of you working in your environments. And then diabetes. And again, you say he lost his eyesight. I hope everyone heard that. And then on top of that, he developed another uncontrolled disease.
Gastroparesis, yes.
Gastroparesis. And and with that, they're saying there's no cure for it. I just wanted everyone to clearly hear all of that again, because I know she went through it, but I'm pretty sure the way you said it, life changed tremendously for the two of you when all of this started to happen. So tell me, when the first time when he lost his sight, because it didn't happen right away, did it? Like you said, he lost his sight first, then he developed the the disease. How was that in the beginning for the two of you when that first happened, when he lost his sight? I know a lot had to have changed for you and your family.
It really changed for me because I was so used to my husband doing things for me. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he loves to cook. So he was always cooking for the family. And
Mm-hmm.
anytime we would go places, I'm like, no, you drive. I'm not driving. I don't want to drive. So I truly believe that that happened to strengthen us and for me to become more dependent on God and not him, because he
Mm.
would do everything. And so for me, I was like, okay, you got to step up now. You got to do what you got to do because, he's lost his sight and he's in and out of the hospital. You got to help continue to raise these boys in which they were older.
Yeah.
And, I just had to just really, really lean and depend on God at that time because I'm like, God, wait a minute. He lost his sight. Now he has this. Okay, God, wait a minute. And so,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of that, he had 3 jobs, he had 3 jobs. And so,
Really?
we lose this income and it's just me. And so, I said, you know what? He's been taking care of the family. I can continue this. I can continue.
Exactly.
And so that's
Exactly.
what I vowed to do. And, and like I said, before I got married, there were those vows.
Okay, let me tell you, we're gonna get into that part because that's what let me tell you, I'm not trying to repeat everything you said because I just need everybody still to hear like all you just said. I love what you said, how you felt like you had to be more dependent on God and not him, not just him, even though we know what it teaches us about our husbands or the other men in the home. They're to provide and protect and all of those things. I know God put them in their place also to do, and he's still doing it. It's still that you felt like you still needed to say, okay, no, I need to depend on God first. And then, of course, as we know, the husband still comes after God also. So I love that. And that's what a lot of people need to still hear that piece, I believe. And also, the part where you said you were used to him cooking, you were used to driving, and so there was so much you were dependent on that changed tremendously for you. That it's hard for someone else maybe if they had to experience something like that. And again, he's working 3 jobs, so of course then there's an impact on the finances in the home,
Yeah.
which is huge for everyone.
Yes.
Tell me, just I marvel over all of that because I've been someone who went through, I was laid off 3 times in 4 years. I always tell people. So I know what it is to sit here back and say, okay, Lord, I know what to do. And I know nothing to do but to trust you. That's what I'll tell people. I had to lean on my trusting him
Yes.
because I say, God, I know you did not bring me here to leave me. That's what I would always say. It was me and my daughter at the time. I was already divorced. And I said, I know you didn't bring me here to leave me. So when I know I didn't do anything wrong, I know to put my trust in you. Do the parts you've given me the power to do, but everything else I rely on you to do. So, and he covered me every time. How did you muster up the strength? And that might lead into what you took seriously, your vows. How did you muster up the strength still to just you have the attitude you took to say, okay, I just have to do this? It has to be your faith, I'm sure.
It was my faith. And also my husband, at first, it was a problem because he's so used to taking care of his family. And
Yes.
here he is, he's losing income, losing sight, losing ability to do some things. And he kind of felt some type of way, but that was short term for him because he realized, we talked about, it's like, look, we're one. So,
Yes.
you don't have to feel like that. You've taken care of us. You've done your part, And so
Amen to
it's,
that.
now God is just showing Sheila, okay, you got to do better. You got to step up. You got to do more. And
Yeah.
so, doing that, we also, before marriage, we had counseling, spiritual counseling with our pastor,
Mhm.
and we went over our vows. So we knew exactly what we were getting into. It said
Mm.
for better, for worse, rich, poor, whatever. So because we went over those vows, we made the decision, okay, we understand our vows. So if anything happened, we made these vows. We made a
Exactly.
vow before God and before men. So,
Mm-hmm.
it was like there wasn't even a thought of doing anything different because we made that vow to God, before God. And so, and to each other. And so, because when you get with a person, he was my friend, then, we
Yes.
first, so this is my friend,
Uh-huh.
and then now this is my husband, and I love him and he loves me. And so it's
Uh-huh.
easy to be able to do that for him and with him,
Of course.
because if it wasn't, I hear a lot of people say, I I love him, but I don't like him, or something like that,
Yes. Yes.
but it's okay if that's the case, but get back to loving him, get back to just
Exactly.
that person. So I'm going to talk a little about marriage, because marriage, you have to make sure that's what you want to do before you
Exactly.
do it, and just make sure that's the person you want to be with. Not
Yes.
because all of your friends are getting married. You just want to
Yes.
have that status, married couple or whatever. No, just make sure this is something you definitely want to do before you do it. So
I agree. And let me tell you, because to your point, when you said y'all had the marriage counseling, a lot of people, some people have that and still don't. I don't know if they truly don't listen, and because they want, like you said, they're getting married because they all of their friends are getting married. And I hate when family put pressure on our young
yeah,
people to say, when are you getting married? Especially they do that to, I think, our young ladies. I don't know
yeah,
if they do it
yes,
as much. I'm not gonna say, we don't say to our sons or our nephews that, okay, when are you getting married? But I still think people don't take it serious. So it is a wonderful thing that you did take it serious. And I heard you say something in another interview you did um, on another show where you said that you would advise young people to hold setting a wedding date.
yeah.
Um, tell me about that, the rest of that. Why would you suggest that?
Okay, so
That's a win.
my pastors now, Pastor Norris and Tanya McGill of the Antioch Christian Church in Irving, Texas. So
Mm-hmm.
they advise couples, before you set your wedding date, go through counseling, because there are
Mm-hmm.
things you may hear that you're not aware of, and you may decide, oh, I'm not ready for that. No,
Yes.
I can't do that, And so you done already scheduled this wedding, and then you're going into a wedding not even wanting to be in that wedding before you even get
Mm-hmm.
into the wedding. So it's just so I feel, and we feel, that's important. That's
Yes.
important to know that this is really what you want to do. And before you
Agree.
set the wedding date, make sure that person you love and you like, and all of that, and make sure you go over those vows. You can get counseling, because they will explain the vows to you. And so that's what
Yes.
happened to me through my other pastor when I was in Louisiana. But my
Mm-hmm.
pastors today, they do the same thing. So it's so important. I think counseling is so important. And some people gonna be
Yeah.
like, it don't take all of that. Oh, yes, it does.
Exactly. That it does. No, it does. Trust me. Because I wish I had done, my ex and I, we did some in the middle of it. Didn't do it in the beginning.
Mhm.
That's some of the things I would tell my daughter to do differently than I did. Take it seriously and don't look at just the little rose colored through look at marriage through rose colored glasses only, to know that life happens, just like if it happens where things happen unexpectedly in marriage, even having children, things can happen unexpectedly. And unfortunately, everybody, we would love to say their kids come out with no disabilities or no, some issues. We wish every child could come out healthy. So we
Yeah.
even have to think of that type of stuff. Life happens and some things are just out of our control. And when things are out of our control, can you survive?
Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
survive? That's what you need to sit there and think about when you look at that person. I read a book, the title of a book, it says, Love in the Time of Chronic Illness, How to Fight the Sickness, Not Each Other. And I'm like, oh, it just kind of spoke to me, because I'm sure when people are going through things, frustration can come up, the why me's can come up. So I think that is important for people to just be able to have that strong foundation starting out, because it's not easy and we're human.
Hmm.
So tell me, how did you and your husband because you've spoken, just me and you talking in the past about his beliefs and your beliefs and how he still do things still to this day. Please tell me about those things. I want to talk about that video as well. So
Okay.
please tell me the things that he's doing, and then we're going to get into the foundation and everything I know you all are trying to start. So tell me, is he still doing things today?
Okay, before I answer that, I want to also say about the wedding part.
Oh,
So
please.
that other interview that I did with Salome,
Mhm.
she stated the wedding is the event,
Vent.
but marriage is for a lifetime. And when she
A,
said that, because I went back and I listened to that, I was like, wow, that is true. So we
that
should
is
always
true.
remember that. Yeah, it's an event. You're gonna, it's an event, but the marriage is the real deal.
Exactly. Yes, it is.
So,
That is
yeah,
one of the best things I've always heard people say. And they always say plan for the marriage, not the wedding,
yeah, yeah,
because we know it is not an easy thing once you get into it, bringing two to one and developing each other's lifestyle and everything. But no, that is a powerful, powerful statement. It is. So please tell me, and more if you want to touch on the vows, and if please share anything else about that part before we go into other things. But that's the part we have to drive home,
right,
that
right.
people need to plan that.
Right. And no, only other thing I would like to say, and I've already said it, is just make sure this is something you want to do. Make sure you
Yes.
know what you're doing, and don't allow just because you had a child with a person
Yes.
to make you just want to get into the marriage and you're not comfortable with that person. So
Exactly.
don't let that be an excuse to get married. I know a lot of people may say, y'all got children, y'all need to be married, just like you
Mm-mm.
said. But just make sure that's something you want to do. Pray about it. God will
Pray
show you
about it.
if that's the person for you.
Thank
So
you.
I tell you, God is a big part of our marriage. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look, you know what, Sheila, we say pray about it, and listen for
And listen,
his reply. Because you know how we can get sometimes we'll sit here and like, I don't know if I heard him, or we'll stop, we'll ask a question, and then we'll just keep moving. And it's like, okay, he's like, let me answer. I read something before too. It said the answer is no. If you pray to God, the answer is no until he says yes. And I'm
oh,
sitting here like, oh, not yet, or not yet, or something like that. And I'm like, okay, okay. So me, I'll tell you, Sheila, I'm sitting here practicing still like, okay, Lord, are you saying yes yet? I'm like, he's like, you are not going to persuade me to what you want, Arlene. So let that go. But yeah, do not react on certain things, and don't let people again put pressure on you to feel like you have to. And again, especially if you, like you said, if
right,
you have grant your children, you don't have to marry someone just because you have children. Yes, we would prefer that. We know
yeah,
that's a good way,
yeah,
but don't get into something that may not be good for you, him, or that baby, especially because
right,
little ones didn't ask for that part either.
right.
Um,
And there's
oh,
also a scripture that says, God is not the author of confusion. So if you still
amen to that.
confused about the situation, it's not God. He's gonna give you
Yes,
peace.
amen to that.
Peace. Yes, he's gonna give you peace.
That is one that I always still take that scripture also to heart for me as well. He is not a God of confusion, and Lord, I'm telling you, if people who, I don't believe in drama. I love peace. I love being happy. I love, like you said, family, and just good positive energy. So, and that is not God. It's not God like to be confused and everything. So remember that, everyone. Thank you for saying that, because that is so true. That is so true. So tell me again. Okay, so let's go into the your husband today. How's he doing, and how has life changed? Or I know in one interview you said he's in and out of the hospital quite a bit. So how's his um demeanor with everything? How is he handling it?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question because I asked him that, you know, recently, when he goes in and I'm like, are you tired of going in and out of the hospital? And
Yeah.
he said, at first, he said, but now I realize, I said, why not me? It has to be
Oh my.
why not me? To
Oh
be that
wow.
to people, it's like, why not me? He goes in and out, and when he's out, he bounces back. He's at church, he's on the keyboard. I mean, this man, he inspires me so much. He's such an inspiration to people.
Yes.
He brings so much encouragement to me and my boys, and he doesn't complain about anything. He doesn't
Amen
complain.
to that.
But I can tell you, he still cuts his hair. He won't let anybody cut his hair. He still
Wait. You said he cuts his hair still.
Yeah, all though, but he cuts it. He gets everything. He doesn't miss a spot. He loves it. He say, but no one cut his hair before. So, and he
Yeah.
tells, he say, Sheila, I can do everything I used to do except drive a car, and I'll be doing that soon.
Amen to that. And because he believes he'll be doing that soon, because he's believing, the two of you are believing for his
Mm-hmm.
healing.
Yes, total healing. Yes, we are.
Total healing, everyone.
Yes.
While he's going through, he said, why not me?
Yes.
Because he's that example for others. And to show it can be done, and in the faith and believe in God. And I love the faith. That is the most powerful part to say, but I got to go back into him cutting his own hair. I don't care if he's bald. You still got that razor and whatever you're
No,
doing.
he uses the
The
clippers.
clippers. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And he said he can do everything. Does he still cook? Because you
Oh,
said
he loves to cook. So certain things he won't that he used to, but his favorite dish and famous dish that the family always want him to bring to different things, macaroni and cheese, and the way he does his macaroni and cheese.
Yes. So, I love what I'm telling you. That helps you, to me, as you're his wife, where your life had to change as well, being his partner,
Right.
where, like you said, he inspires you. But that had to help you, because I can't imagine if he was woe unto me and down so much on himself continuously. And we're human, so I know we can all go through those times at some point, maybe in our lives. But for him to now be that inspiration for everybody, to let you see, I'm still the man you married. We all change, we evolve, but I am still him. It's just some of these things change. That is a lot that changed, but I am still that person. And
Right.
it's helping you still because of his attitude.
Right.
Attitude is everything.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, I'm telling you, that's why everyone, I had to bring her on, because the two of them inspired me. And again, I wanted to bring her on because, as that supportive wife, to show us how a wife should be when things happen in their marriage. She, to me, was the one I know I needed to talk to, because even though her husband is the one dealing with the illnesses, and he's the one I know that seemed like he's probably sometimes being poked and everything, being in the hospital, still his wife feels, I'm sure, some of that pain in a
Yeah.
way that a wife can. And I
Yes.
wanted to speak to a woman who, to allow us to understand that, to hear her tell it, someone who's living as a wife with a husband, seeing her husband go through so much, but still to see how she dealt with it so she can help us. And I promise you, you inspire us. He inspires you, which is wonderful. I'm sure you inspire him as well, but you're here inspiring us to show us again what we need to do when when our spouses or our significant others are going through so much in their lives, and taking these vows seriously, and bringing family. I love the story. I just, now tell me this. There was a video you sent me. I need everyone to go look at this video, and I don't know if I could post it whenever I bring the show out to everyone or not, because of how it is. I have to make sure it is something that I could post if they allow me to. But please tell us about a video that went viral.
Okay, this happened Memorial Day 2019. We was at my sister Omega's house, and
Uh-huh.
we have family gets together. We get together for anything. You
It was a
whatever.
lot of people out there,
Yeah,
trust me.
family and a couple of friends, but the majority were family. Okay.
Yes.
And so we were there, and my nephews and a couple of their friends, they were out shooting basketball. And they say, Uncle David, come outside and shoot with us. At first, he's like, I'm not doing that, whatever. So they encouraged him to come outside. So he came outside all big and bad. and then and then so he said he's gonna do it. So one of my nephews kind of positioned him, and one was under the basketball goal, and he said, so he gave my husband the ball. Everybody was doing free throws, and so it get a chance. And so when it was his chance, my nephew got under there and he said, shoot toward my voice, Unc. And when he said that, my husband goes, huh? Because that's that hearing when you lose your sight, so he followed the voice. He followed the voice. That's a preaching thing right there, following the voice.
Follow the voice.
Toward
if
my
any
voice.
pastors on here, they're picking that up for Sunday service.
Toward my voice. And so my husband shot the basketball, and all the young people had their cameras out, and they were all these, because they do all this social media. I don't even. And so when he shot it, he made it, and they just went crazy because they weren't thinking he was gonna make it.
Exactly.
So they went wild, and so we all laughed about it. It meant that we just had fun until they go, we gotta make this go viral. So I'm gonna put it on Twitter. I'm gonna put it on here. I'm gonna put it on there. Everybody different was doing something different. And my one nephew Blade, he put it on Twitter. And when he put it on Twitter, they all went their separate ways, and where everybody went, we came home. It was kind of late after that. And so about 2 hours after we got home, Blade gives us a call. Uncle David, ESPN just hit me up. They want the video. Uncle David, Sports Illustrated just hit me up. They want the video. Uncle David, sports, somebody, every sport outlet wanted the video. And so he gave them permission. Yes, you can post the video. In 3 days, we had 10 million views. I tell you, we had people in Brazil, people in India, people in the UK, people in Ukraine, people all over the world saw the video, posted a video, reposted it, the India Times. I'm like, what? What's the India Times? And then we had the TV station here. They reached out to us. They came to our house twice to do the interview. So we were interviewed on TV. We had a radio station. It was just awesome. And then through that video, we were invited to the city council meeting here in Grand Prairie, Texas. And we had, they presented my husband with David Turner Day. He had a they gave him a proclamation and said it was David Turner's Day. We had dinner with the mayor. Oh my goodness, God just really blessed us through that video. Was just, and the video blessed so many people. When you see the comments that were made, it was on all kind of outlets. It was on one that the young people, they always listening to, and they always, the Shade Room. I don't know much about it. But they say, that one always throwing shade. But when I tell you, those people were so encouraging, and the Shade Room had over 3 million views by themselves. And so I was like, this is so awesome. And then someone, Daquan, I guess something like the Shade Room, he had over 3 million by. I was like, this is so awesome for people to reach. I mean, for this video to reach with inspiration and encouragement. And so it was, my husband said that video, God allowed it to happen, and only God glory from that video being happening. And just this month of last month, somebody else reposted it. Last year, they reposted it on Father's Day. It was a tribute to fathers. Snapchat did it. So they still showing it. And we are so grateful to God that he chose our family to be a inspiration and encouragement to so many people. And they were talking about families too. Oh, that family. So God did it. God did it. And he gets all the glory. He gets all the
glory for it. And I love the part where you said, where the nephew said, follow my voice.
Yes, you.
And God, like your husband said, why not me? So
Mm,
God said, I know, like how you giving him the glory. That's why Sheila and David Turner has this battle that they're dealing with.
mm,
Because the one thing I always say on this podcast is the women who share their stories, I love to say she did not choose path. This path chose her. Because I'm like, we marvel and I hate some of the things we have to go through. I don't like them, I must admit.
yes.
But God knew the two of you would take this mantle
Mm,
and run with it because he knows us. We look, because they always say if God shows us what's going to happen 10, 15 years from now, I'll be like, no, Lord, you take it. I'll sit right here. I'll sit here in my little misery. But we know we come out better because of it.
yes. Yes.
And that video made other people look at the two of you. The videos show inspiration, like you said. The video shows that I can still, like with your husband, if you don't mind, it's David. You
David,
said
yeah.
right. David can still do all things. You know, like he said, not everything. The driving is coming one day, and I
Yes,
can't wait because you have to come back on the
I
podcast,
will.
and that's when I may have to introduce men to my podcast because Mr. and Mrs. Turner will be back on the show
Yes,
too with a video, which will go
yes,
viral again.
yes.
But
Wait,
I love
take
it.
God at his word. We just believe him. And he said,
Amen.
he healed a blind man in the Bible, and what he did, healing is still taking place. And so we
Amen.
truly believe God and take him at his word that David will be able to see again. So everybody, y'all just watch
Just
out
keep
because you
waiting.
will see
Just keep
David turn.
waiting.
Yes, keep
Yes. And as we keep going, let me ask you this, because I say I know the two of you will take this mantle and run. Tell me now today, what came about that video that I started from the beginning that I saw? Your husband was talking about something that was coming. So now please tell me, what is this that's coming that the two of you are working on?
So because of his uh the gastroparesis and the blindness and him in and out of the hospital so much, we realized that when David goes into the hospital, it's not
Mhm.
only him, it affects the family as well.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
he got out in April, and he said, you know what? I want to start a nonprofit. He said, I have my family with me every time I'm in and out of the hospital. He said, but there are so many people who are battling with incurable disease, and some people don't have family, but some
Exactly.
they do have family, but the families do not know how to cope with what they're going through. And another
Mm-hmm.
thing, a lot of families, they feel that they're in it alone because they don't know
Mm.
what to do and how to help their loved ones. And
Yes.
also they sit and we say suffer in silence. So
Yes.
our whole thing was, wow, we're going to start an organization and we want to support families. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if there's some support needed, we'll do our part to find out what is needed, and we'll reach out to what the people or whomever that we need to reach out to help them. And also we want to bring hope, encouragement, inspiration. We want to
Wonderful.
motivate them. We want them to know you're not alone, and it's okay to
Amen.
talk about it. You don't have to suffer in silence, because not only with the sickness, so many people are just suffering in silence. No one is opening up. And so that was just in our heart. And so my husband, my sons, and we started
Mm-hmm.
this profit because they say, oh, it's a family thing. Families
Yes.
go through it as well. So we're here too. We want to help. We
Yes.
want part. And so it's
Wonderful.
such a blessing. And we just thank God that the nonprofit is called By Faith, Not Sight.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want you to know, you may not be able to see it now, but just keep on, keep on going. Just have that faith that it's not going to always be like this. Better days
Amen.
ahead. But God is a healer. So it doesn't matter what you're dealing with, what sickness the doctors say there's no cure for. God can heal you. And so we just want to
Amen.
encourage people. We're going to be offering prayer to those who want prayer. You know, you can't
Of
just pray
course.
for everybody if they don't want prayer. But hey, prayer changed our lives. So
Amen.
and we're just still praying. We're still praying to the manifestation take place of my husband. So
Yes.
so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stand on faith, but we want to encourage people. And we've started it, but we're waiting for our website to be up. And when the website is totally up, we're gonna say more about it.
Of
But we've
course.
been speaking to people. We've spoken and prayed with a family in the Philippines. We
Mm.
prayed with a family in India, some pastor and his
Yes.
family. We've prayed for them, and we've prayed for a family in Jordan, and we've
Mm.
been praying for this missionary in the Ukraine. So I say, God, these people are international. Wait a minute. We've also been praying for, some of our loved ones and friends here in the
Of
area,
course.
but it's like, God, what are you doing? So, we're so grateful.
Um,
Whatever he allows to happen, we're going to let it happen.
that is going viral already. That is international, like you said, because you're already using it internationally. And
Yes.
oh my God, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So so just one day, and like you say, because you have that family, and like you said, people don't have to suffer alone or in silence. And because that's what a lot of people do. And when they're going through it, they feel like they are the only ones going through it, whatever
Right.
it is,
Mm-hmm.
divorce,
Mm-hmm.
domestic abuse, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody, sometimes you feel like you're the only one going through it.
Right.
So for you to bring all that love that even you and David have, and that he has, that he wanted to share it with others, and to bring, and then your boys and your family came in and said, oh no, you're not doing this by yourself. It is a family thing, and that is going to help others, because now you're going to become the world's family to
Oh,
me.
it's God.
Oh
Yes.
yes, God is using you all, the Turners, to be the world's family, especially who can relate, and relate with some of the similar things he's going through. And it doesn't have to be the same things he's going through. It's just
Right.
showing how, like, again, how the wife supports her husband, and with, because, or even a husband supporting his wife, even if she was the one going through illnesses.
Right.
I think people will see that, and then how you use prayer and believing and faith, that he is just gonna be a mighty, um what a mighty thing that is going to go to the world, that's going to bless so many others. And like you said, God gets the glory from
Right.
it.
Right.
And I keep going back to where your husband said, why not me?
Yes.
Because God knew that he and the two of you would take this and do something with it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's wonderful. So, and let everyone, like she said, they're working on the website. So maybe by the time this episode is published, the website will be up. So all of that will be in the show notes. So you will be connected, and we'll know about all of if she has any events, the two of them will have any events coming up. And maybe it'll be something out there where you can reach out to them
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
so they can do the same for you. Like she said, trust me, they're not just international. They're going to be right there. They're right there in the United States, and praying
Yes.
for you here. If you're here, I'm in Georgia, so she'll be praying for us right here too, if you need them to do that. And
Yes.
go to their website when it is out there, to get encouragement. And they don't want you to just think there's just something extra special. It's just that they're believers of God.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and God is, look, Sheila, I have to practice on these things. He's not a respecter of man, it says.
A person. Yes. He's no respect.
Yes, person.
Yes. So
Because what he'll do for the Turners, he'll
yes.
do the same for you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
please don't take anything different, like he can't bless you either.
Yes.
Seek him for yourself, and you will see.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, Sheila. Tell me, is there any other one thing that you would really want couples to know, families to know, that you can share today that we did have not touched on, or you just want to reiterate because of that is on your heart?
Well, I just want to say, because you just said it, what God has done for my family, he can definitely do it for your family, anybody out there. And if you don't have God in your life, I want to encourage you to get to know him. Hey, that makes a difference. That will make things so much better. You can go through whatever it is you
Yes.
go through.
Yes.
It will be so much better for you to go through with God than to go
Amen.
through without God. And so for those who are married, your marriage can be better if you include God in your marriage. Don't try to do it all by yourself. No. Don't try to do it all by yourself. Please include him, because God is in control of everything. Everything belongs to him. He's our source. He sent resources if you need finances. So whatever it is out there, hey, you guys, we are still walking through things. So we're leaning, depending on God, because we cannot do it without him. And I just encourage you, if you don't know him, get to know him. And we're open to pray for anybody, so like she said, when the website is up, you can contact us. And also for those who may want to see the viral video, you can Google blind uncle makes free throw, or you can Google blind man makes free throw. So, or David Turner, but it's blind uncle makes free throw, or you can Google blind man makes free throw, and you can see the video. And it's just us and our family. But there was also one out there from WFAA TV station where my husband actually has an interview. I think it says "Choosing Joy" is the name of the video, and so you get to see him, some of our family members in the videos around while they're interviewing him. So God is good. Everything, we just give God all the praise and the glory for everything that he has done, he is doing, and most of all that he will be doing. So I just encourage God to just seek God and just seek him. That's all I can say, seek him. And I thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I just thank you so much for this opportunity.
You don't have to thank me, because God is directing us to you. Just know that he, again, like I said, it wasn't happenstance, because I really look at certain people and I'm sitting here like, for some reason, I just knew I had to meet this woman and talk to this person. And I must say, you will be, I don't use the word friend loosely. I say family still. You're a family member forever. I just need you to know. So you are always welcome here on the path. And if things are coming up, you have a platform. I want you to know. So please come back. And everyone, again, I will put all of what she said that I'm allowed to put in after their website is up, the videos, and again, where they said you can go look at some of the viral videos. I want to find the one with Choosing Joy in the interview, because again, I just want to say this here. When I saw the video with your husband talking about the nonprofit that you all were starting, I did not know he was blind. I found, it's just other things, I was just listening to his story and what he was talking about. And then I'm like, I didn't even notice that until I started hearing more about everything once you and I started to talk, of course.
Well, that's to a lot of people. A lot of people say, even like at church when he's up there on the keyboard, you can't tell. You
can't tell.
You can't tell.
Yeah. Okay. He walking in healing already.
Yes.
So that's what it is to me.
Yeah.
So for right now, so I won't even ask you unless you wanted to give any social media handles right now. If not, we can just make sure and put all of that in there, because if so, wait to put your nonprofit.
I know his at elder _musicman, MUZIKMAN, and mine is Shelia Turner. I really don't know. and
I'll put them in the show notes. Don't worry.
And my son's one is I Am Poetry, POETRE, and then the other one is Zay Johnny, ZAYJOHNNY. But as far as our organization, we have to create, social for that. But Facebook is Shelia James Turner, and it's spelled SHELIA, because a lot of people spell it, different. So Shelia James Turner, and then for my husband, it's just David Turner. For my oldest son is Windsor, Winzer, Windsor David Turner III. So my husband's real name is Windsor.
Oh, Windsor. That's wonderful. And y'all, you see, she gives all the family stuff. They're such family people. So this might be the first episode I put everybody's social media in, because a family we're gonna keep everything together like a family on here. I don't believe in breaking none of that up. So I love Shelia. Can I say thank you?
You're welcome. You're welcome. I have.
It was such a blessing.
Yes.
We may need to do another little mini podcast again on marriage and as the what, talking more about just vows, and then maybe talking more again about the couple. So that may be coming in the future, everyone. So everyone, right now, Shelia and David Turner, along with their family, is our survivor guide to learn, understand, and take our vows seriously, so you can navigate unfamiliar terrains when unexpected obstacles interrupt the life you once knew. In their case, it's some unexpected illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you this family has so much love, that those are just pieces of the parts where we say where life happens. But they're making the best of it because God is using them to do mightier things. And I want everyone always to remember, when you go through things in your life, we don't want, or we choose not to go through some of these things. But once we come out, God gets the glory, and we become better because of it. We grow from it. We grow closer to God. And right now, like, they're starting this nonprofit to help other families. I want everyone to always remember to trust, just trust God, just trust the process. You can get through this. There is a through if you trust and believe God and put your faith in Him. There is a through to everything, and I promise you, you'll come out better. Shelia, any last words?
No, just want to encourage everyone, like you say, trust the process. Trust the process. Yes, yes.
Thank you again, my sister. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. Until next time, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for hanging with us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and other platforms, so you can stay up on our bi-weekly, real conversations with these bold women. You can follow The Path Podcast on Facebook at The Path Podcast, and on Instagram and Twitter at The Path_podcast. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or have questions for a future show, you can email us at thepath4ward@gmail.com. That's thepathforward@gmail.com. And if you're looking for a speaker or you're in need of a life coach, please reach out to me. Again, at thepathforward@gmail.com or at ACKORLEH@gmail.com. Thank you. Until next time.